Hey, good Friday, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with a severe weather update as we're expecting another round of some active weather here for later this afternoon into tonight. We had a little bit of a reprieve yesterday on Thursday, definitely not as active as what we saw on our Wednesday, but it looks like we'll see an uptick in activity for tonight. That includes more tornadoes as well as the possibility of more flooding, which has been a real concern. The fact that we continue to get these thunderstorms falling with heavy rains over the same ground. So we're going to kind of break things down here for you for today. Now, currently we're seeing most of the rain activity here as we're heading toward the lunch hour, mostly up here into the Arkansas area and into areas of Oklahoma. So that's where we're kind of seeing we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in this zone. I'll show you in a second. But no active warnings out there for now, but things really begin to deteriorate here as we go into the late afternoon and into tonight. And it looks like the target zone, the bullseye, is definitely going to be falling over Arkansas, where they had already got raked with some tornadoes there, obviously, on your Wednesday. So let's go ahead and break down the severe weather profile here for today, looking at your day one outlook here. And of course, this is from our friends at the Storm Prediction Center. And obviously, you see that level 4, that red, that moderate risk there, stretching from southern Missouri back into East Texas. Again, this is that same zone that was kind of hit pretty good there on Wednesday. So we're not a high level, not to a 5, but we are to a 4. And it looks like we're going to see a breakdown with this looking pretty good as we head into the evening hours. So let's go and look at the tornado risk here. Obviously, that red zone will be the highest level right in there, running about 15% there. Again, running with that moderate risk is going right in there, surrounded by the progressively lower risk down to obviously the 10 and 5% there in the brown. Look at the wind threat. Wind threat will be highest here, a little bit further off toward the north than where the tornado threat will be. This kind of goes into portions of Indiana, coming back into Missouri, a little sliver of northwestern Arkansas. So that's where the highest wind threat will be running there. We're talking winds greater than 60 miles per hour. And the hail threat kind of running there, that little bullseye, they're kind of running that red zone there, running about 30% as well right through this zone. So the storm chasers are going to be busy for today. Had a little bit of a break yesterday, but things are firing right back up here for today. Now, we still got a few more days of tracking this severe weather. We got our day 2 outlook here. We got that enhanced area, a little bit larger here going into Tennessee, back in toward Louisiana, into Mississippi. So we're starting to get some progression, starting to move a little bit further to the east. We've got a system that's kicking out of the Rockies. We sometimes refer to it as a kicker, and it's going to be kicking this off toward the east. And so by the time we get to day 3, going into your Sunday, we'll shift into the southeast. We're talking a lot of Georgia, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle there getting on the action. But I don't believe it'll be quite that bad as it progresses further east. I think the trend is for it to be downward a little bit. So some good news there for the folks a little bit further into the southeast who are dealing with like summertime warmth there for the time being. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the damage reports we've had so far. Just kind of recapping once again what we had here on Wednesday. We had 52 tornado reports there, pretty good coverage in there. Quite a few EF3s in there as well. So some very strong tornadoes with that. Now, notice when we go to our day 2, or yesterday's outlook, I should say, that things definitely stepped back a little bit. So if you looked at the ones from yesterday, only saw 1 tornado report. That's good news there, and 108 reports. So it definitely took a step back, but I'm anticipating it to step up again for today. So maybe not quite as much as what we had on Wednesday, but not as low as what we had yesterday. So maybe we'll get maybe 300 or 400 reports, somewhere in between, I think is what we're going to end up seeing here for today. So right now, the big concern continues to be the flooding. Again, you got a lot of this rain falling over the same ground. We call that training in weather lingo. And a lot of these thunderstorms keep progressing along basically a stationary boundary in there. You see the winter weather back here. This is that kicker system that's going to be kicking this thing out eventually as we go into this upcoming weekend. But continuing some very high rain amounts, especially across portions of western Tennessee. Some of the rainfall totals kicking down here, some of the models showing upwards of 10 inches plus on top of what has already fallen. So some very significant flooding. You see all the flood warnings here in the brown here across portions of Kentucky. You see all the flood advisories out there all over the place on top of the flood watches. So again, flooding will be a major concern really in the days ahead because all that water's got to go downstream. So rivers and creeks are going to be out of their banks here for days after this stuff begins to clear on out of here. So there's that boundary that's in that area right now. You see the severe thunderstorm watch that's up here up to the north, and eventually we'll see it replaced with some tornado watches as we go into the late afternoon and into the evening hours. the regional satellite showing that the storms, at least for the time being, shifted a little bit further toward the north, but that's temporary. We're going to watch some energy here kick out of Texas. That's going to shift it back over areas that have already been hit quite a bit over the last few days. So we're going to be looking at the latest high-resolution model data here. We're talking about the 12Z run here to kind of break all this down for you here as we go into the evening. So I want you to watch very closely on the timestamp there in the upper right-hand corner as I kind of walk you through this here for this afternoon. Again, we're going to watch a couple pieces of energy. This first one to kind of kick on out of here, coming into Arkansas. Arkansas is going to be the real concern here by later this afternoon. So by the nose to news, by the time we get to 4 o'clock, again, some pretty good thunderstorms there across East Texas and starting to come into areas of Arkansas. So as we go into that prime afternoon heating, we're going to have great instability. That's fuel for the fire for these thunderstorms. And we're also going to have a lot of helicity and spin in the atmosphere as well. So the significant tornado parameter is also going to spike as well as these storms fire up and move into Arkansas. And this moves off toward the east into the evening hours. So we got that one surge coming across East Texas through Arkansas and then going into Kentucky as we go into the overnight hours, kind of diminishes a little bit. Then we're going to watch another round of energy here kicking out of Texas out ahead with the upper feature. That'll set up another round of severe weather going in toward tomorrow. So as we go into the day on Saturday, here goes some more thunderstorms flaring up, coming back across the same grounds once again. And then it's kind of sticking into Louisiana there on the tail end as we start to see the system start to get a little push from our upper level disturbance here back across Texas. That's going to be dumping us snows. Yeah, hard to believe we're going to see snows in April in Texas, but that's exactly what we're going to get with this as this kicks on out. And then eventually this whole system begins to track off toward the east and eventually getting into North Georgia, Alabama, and into Mississippi as we go in towards Sunday morning. So let's break down the parameters here for today. We're going to focus strictly on that high resolution area here. Again, check out these. This is CAPE. Okay, this is your fuel for the fire, and they're running extremely high in there into Arkansas as we go toward the 4 o'clock hour. In fact, let's go in a little bit closer here and take a look at Arkansas specifically here, and we're going to be talking about significant CAPE. So we're talking 3,000 to 4,000. That's very, very high. So we're talking fuel. We're talking about octane fuel, high energy here to feed those thunderstorms. So we got the octane. We know that's going to be there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the helicity. That's the spin. Okay, so we're looking at the updraft helicity tracks, kind of give an idea where potential tornadoes could form as well. And as I take you forward through this, going into the late afternoon, into the evening hours, you're seeing these fairly long tracks here across northern portions of into portions of Arkansas, even down here across East Texas as well. That'll have to be watched for potential tornadoes in there. So obviously we've got the heat, we've got the spin and the helicity, we've got that showing up there as well. And it shows up here in the significant tornado parameter. Look at the 7 o'clock readings here. Wow, big bullseye here, 10 to 13 above. So Arkansas was probably going to be where there were a lot of the storm chasers are going to be chasing for today. And of course, we had that little town up there in northeastern portions of Arkansas. Little River get hit the other day with that EF3. So in the same general neighborhood, they're going to get hit yet again here for this afternoon and going into tonight. So again, I'm kind of recapping this once again for everybody. We got a significant weather day ahead here. I want to show this once again that we're going to be dealing with this for the next few days. Recapping this once again, going back to today, obviously we're talking about that moderate risk there from southern Missouri back in toward East Texas. That is for today. Tomorrow we'll be talking about our friends here across western portions of Tennessee back toward Louisiana, so we get a little bit of push off there toward the east. And then finally, we'll wrap things up here as we head into Sunday, as we'll see Georgia, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle really kind of getting under the gun there as we go in towards your Sunday. So hopefully folks are paying attention. The good news out of this is that once this goes by this weekend, we are going to get a break. We're going to get a reprieve. We're going to get a significant pattern change. There'll be some much colder air across the eastern portion of the United States. And the pattern will be a little bit of a pause there, probably till, I think, at least the 17th, 18th of April, the way it's looking. So very active over the next 3 days. Please make sure you stay weather aware. Make sure you got the latest app on your phone and that kind of thing. If you have a weather radio, highly recommend you get one of these. These are the great things to have, especially for those nighttime severe weather events. And continue to look for my updates here on the channel. If you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates. And as always, I appreciate any comment or feedbacks. You can always leave a comment down below. All right, that's your quick severe weather update. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next update. You guys have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.